What's up guys, Matt here coming at you with my torture tested review of this Losi Promoto MX. That's a lot. I just want to apologize if you hear background noise. I've got the AC running out here. I'm in the garage. This is my studio. I'm not some preppy boy in a box somewhere. I'm a man in a garage, so it is what it is. I gotta have the air. It's hot and humid in Kentucky right now, so I apologize for that. But getting to this Losi, I have abused this thing beyond what I ever dreamed it could survive. If you watch my initial video of this thing, I full sent it, like wide open throttle, pinned, launched it off my big ramp. It just, 20 to 30 feet in the air. It hits, bounces a foot off the ground, and just keeps going. Everybody has been amazed by what this thing is held up to. And that's kind of my thing. Like, I don't baby stuff. I get it, I run it hard. If I really like it, I run it even harder. And this, I have had more fun with this than any RC I've had in probably the last 6 to 8 years. You know, my X-Max comes to mind. When I got my X-Max, I had an absolute blast. Couldn't believe the overall size of it for one. Kind of the same here. You know, it's really big for a dirt bike, which makes it a lot of fun. It's just so new and thrilling to run. It really is. And it's so simple. Like, I don't think people understand how simple it is to drive this. You know, I've had a lot of questions on the steering and that sort of thing, and I address those in a bit. We will skip to where I get a speed run of this, and I talk about the steering, handling, and we try to backflip it. So definitely stick around because all that's coming. But I just wanted to give you a few pointers on some things that I've figured out that I think really are going to be our only downfalls to this, and a couple good things to know. So let's get right into that really quick, and then we'll get to some running because I know you guys want to see this thing run. I know a lot of people got shafted on the green one. Those haven't shipped yet. I pre-ordered one of those as well. Shortly after running this for the very first time, I went and ordered a green one. You know, I really wanted a green one anyways, but I do like blue really well, so I ended up going with the blue, and I'm kind of thankful because it helped me out being able to get some videos out on this thing since, you know, these companies won't send me these things because I am just a guy in a garage. What do I know? All right, so number one tip out of the gate, take this rubber tip off of your exhaust, pull that off, put some glue on it, put it back because this will come off and you won't know where. I had to go back to the video to figure out where it came off. Luckily I found it because who knows when I'll be able to get that, you know. Apparently Horizon sold 5 times what they expected to sell of these. So they've shut down all of the parts orders, all of the upgrades orders, like you can't even order this stuff. So since they're making way more money than they expected, we get shafted. Go figure. Number 2, on the blacktop, these jerseys are going to take a beating. They do anyways, but the very first time I ran mine on the blacktop, you'll see here, I ripped the elbow completely out. So I actually took this piece of a glove. I cut the finger out of this glove, just one of these Maxi Flex gloves, cut an end on it, and it's getting stretched now where I keep trying to pull it up, but it was a pretty good fit. But you can tell, I think, it has took a beating right here instead of the jersey just ripping out farther, and it don't look terrible in my opinion. It just kind of looks something like an elbow pad. I really need to make one for this side, but these jerseys, they're gonna go quick. So if somebody could make little leather riding jackets for these things that will hold up, you'll be a millionaire. The next thing that really is gonna wear on these is just the back tire. Like the blacktop is very hard on the tires. You can see mine's getting some wear, still not bad, but these are gonna wear quick. You know, I think they gave us a halfway decent price on wheel and tires. So I did get an extra set of those ordered before they kind of disappeared. I think Amain still has these. I'll link them in the description. You can still get front and rear off of Amain of the stock. And then I did get a set of the Pro Line street tires ordered before they kind of shut those down. So obviously the plastics are gonna take a beating. Really, this rear piece here takes most of the abuse. I was pretty surprised with how the rest of it has held up. Nothing is broke. Quite a bit of skin on the front number plate here, but you know, it's a bike, it's gonna get beat up. The body has held up well. My rider's shoulder did get dislocated at one point. The arm just pops out of the body. Just pop that back in. You can unzip it here, popped it back in, no issues there. To put my little elbow pad on, I just took this screw out. The hand slips right off of the handlebar. I slipped that on, put it back. I'm surprised, you know, the handlebars haven't broke. I've plowed this into stuff, everything under the sun, and I'm very surprised nothing is broke. The chain, I'm probably gonna have to tighten that a little bit. It's getting a little loose there. It's just getting broke in, you know. So that may be something I have to deal with soon. So I wanna touch on batteries really quick. I did order a couple of the Spectrum batteries that are recommended to run in here just to test it out, see how they run, how they fit, that sort of thing. If you guys watched my first video, you know I ordered a couple of these because they're like 30 bucks for 2 of these. I'll link all this in the description. Whatever way you wanna go, it's up to you. But these will work. The issue is you always have your balance port somewhere it really shouldn't be, okay? And I have ripped the wires here on one pack, just not the Ovonics, but another one. But it's very hard on your wires, getting everything in here and routed how they want it. These are not even a great fit. I mean, they will work, but it takes me a minute to get it in there. The best setup I have found is definitely a Shorty pack with the bullet connectors. So I have a bunch of these Shorty packs that I used to run at the track in my 10 scale buggies. I just kind of quit going to the track, so these haven't been getting any use. So I took an EC5, put the flat style bullet connectors on it, and this works great because I don't have the balance lead to deal with. This thing slides in here very easily. Figure out how to hold this up where you can see it. You've got tons of room in there, and you can see that goes way up in there. It doesn't move around because of the bullet connectors sticking down a little bit. I did notch my battery tray here because my lead is just not very long. If you have a longer one, it would run just like it's supposed to, out this, around the exhaust, whatnot. But I notched my tray a little bit right there. Look how easy that goes in. Boom. Before I was struggling trying to get my balance port. How am I gonna get this in there and this wire there and not hit this and it not be sticking out? These are as easy as it gets. So Shorty pack, you could put some padding in here if you wanted to. I haven't had any issues with it moving around because once this is in there, it's pushing on your bullet connectors, which kind of holds it all in place. And I haven't had any issues with wires getting crimped or anything like that. If they do, these are simple enough. You just put a new connector on it, right? I mean, these just pull out. So I just normally leave this plugged into the bike, these up here like this. That's also saving this connector here. I'm not taking this in and out all the time, over and over, fighting with it. I just leave these here when I'm ready to put my battery in, pull this up here, slap it in, and it's worked great. So I just thought I would share that with you guys. Definitely one of the better mods I've done to this bike. So the G2 batteries did show up. I wanted to go ahead and toss this in the video. You can see these don't have the separate balance lead. They are built into the charge plug here. So that's why these fit in here really well. These do require a Spectrum Smart Charger to charge. Luckily, I already had one of those. It's a dual that I got in a trade a long time ago, but it is a really good charger. I use it a lot. You can see how these fit in here pretty well. I like how, you know, the wires are made to tuck into the exhaust. You do still get a little bit of push on those wires, which I really don't like up in there. You're still kind of mashing on those, bending them a way that they really don't feel like they should bend. So you can see how these come out and up. So you're really having to bend those down. So I still don't really like that. I still like the Shorty packs in here best. But the good thing about these is we will get a live feedback on our battery level. Not really worth the price, in my opinion. I can tell when my battery is fading. So that's just a look at these batteries as well. All right, guys, so probably the number one asked question is, will this backflip? And you know I'm gonna be the one to find out, but I need you to hit the like and subscribe because look, there are 0 parts available for this thing right now. We're gonna send this one. If it breaks, it breaks. We're gonna hope it don't break, but you guys wanna know if it'll backflip, so we gotta find out, all right? So the fun could end here today. We're gonna hit this massive ramp, see what happens. So go subscribe, I appreciate you. Let's find out. So basically I've got this thing ramping up right now. I put it in off-road mode so that hopefully it will let me do what I want in the air. When we hit this, we're just gonna punch it and see if the gyro will let it loop. I don't know, we may have to, on the fly as we're coming at the ramp, flip the flywheel off, something, I don't know, like, I have no idea, but we're gonna find out. So let's check it out. So I started out trying to hit the ramp kind of slow, then punching it off the lip, kind of like you would do a real bike. I turned the flywheel off as I was en route to the ramp. Nothing seemed to work, you know. I just couldn't get it to loop. I even tried turning the flywheel off completely here, which you can't really drive it without that, but I thought maybe we could get it to loop. So we beat the ramp up. Possibly could get it done on this setup. Once I discovered you have to turn the MS6X rate knob, the rear knob there, all the way down. That gives you the least amount of stability control, like the least amount of keeping you upright, basically. Gives you more lean, and it gives you more freedom on your wheelies. Once I turned that all the way down and moved to a smaller jump, just a very small basic kicker, I was actually able to get it done. But you can see here, jumped it and jumped it and jumped it. Here's where I was kind of thinking, like, if I wheelied off of it and got just the right timing, I could get it done. You can see there it did do a flip, just not really what we wanted it to do. So I moved to the smaller kickers here, and I just really couldn't quite get my timing right on this one. When I did, it just wasn't quite enough. So I pulled out the old Max Smasher ramps here, and you can see the flywheel ramp got it done. You could tell there I had to hit it just right, perfect timing, but it can be done. This thing can backflip. Whoa! So I got 39 right now with this. Let's try it again. That is in wheelie mode. Maybe it's limited. This wheelie mode is so cool though. Watch this. You can just be running, punch it, and just hold full throttle. And it'll just stay there. That is so much fun. That's so sick. Let's see if we can go way down there, turn around, and just ride a wheelie all the way back. And now, we're at a wheelie now. It just keeps gaining speed. Oh, it finally set in on there. That's so cool though. It's the first time I really got to use wheelie mode, because it will work somewhat in the gravel and off-road, but it just, you know, every bump you hit, it kind of wants to drop. But out here, man, you can really get some speed in wheelie mode. So in wheelie mode, I was getting 39.6. I'm now in on-road. We're gonna see what we can get in on-road. So there I got 40.2. That's probably about right. This battery is pretty old. I used to race with this like at least a year and a half ago. So it's been ran through it. This pack's not the greatest, you know, for getting the most power. I do have a stock, the Spectrum G2 battery that they recommend for this on the way, so we can do a little more testing with how it runs. But 40.2 it says. So I kind of wanted to show you guys what this knob does here. It really kind of changes your lean. So I'm going to turn it all the way up and come up through here and just kind of go back and forth with this thing and show you how far it will lean here. All right, while this dude coasts back downhill, we're gonna change this to the least amount, I guess, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna come back and see what it does now. See, you can tell that those wheels aren't hitting like they were until I get into a full turn, but just at a little higher speed, it doesn't really seem to affect it much at lower speed, but once you get to like that mid-range, I'll come back again with it. See, it's not letting those wheels touch down until I really get into a turn and like hold it there. So as you're going back and forth, it's not giving you as much at mid speed, it seems like. I don't know. I'm gonna turn it all the way up now. We'll come back again and I'll show you at mid speed. You should be able to hear those guiders hitting, see that? Even in the turn, you can tell it's laying it down more. And I can definitely tell when I'm driving here that it's got more lean to it. Much more like responsive, I guess, at higher speeds. I don't know. It's not a huge difference, but it's just something that like you'll feel. I mean, it's not really anything I can show you too well on video, I don't think. So somebody was talking about really trying to keep the front end down. In street mode, you can tell it, as soon as you start popping the wheelie, it tries to put it back down. So in off-road, you will just loop out. In wheelie mode, you'll hold a wheelie. Right here, in street mode, when I'm coming back and I punch this throttle, I'll wait till I get up here a little closer so you can see it. So when I punch the throttle, it'll pop a wheelie, but then see it tries to hold it down so he can really get some speed. It'd be nice if that worked just a little bit better on holding it down, but if you're taking off from kind of a slow rolling start, there it did pretty good. It's almost like you can hear him shifting. It's pretty cool. Going downhill, it didn't hold it as well. So I guess the hunt begins. The dreaded exhaust tip is gone. Why didn't you guys tell me it was missing this entire time? So when I started out, I come rolling up through here and I kind of forgot this was here, and if you remember, I went flying down in here and that's where it came off. So pro tip number one, glue the crap out of this thing. So I'm gonna show you guys kind of how the control works, because somebody was asking if it was like a constant back and forth, you know, to keep it level, if you had to just be working the wheel all the time. And that's a no. If you get it pretty well straight, you let off, like it just goes straight. You can see. Now, eventually it will start to track, you know, right or left a little bit, and at lower speeds, you do have to kind of balance it a little more. But honestly, you can have it laying on its side, punch the throttle, and it's gonna start going straight somewhere. You know what I mean? So, yes, you have to steer it, obviously, but it's not a constant fight keeping it balanced. You don't have to left, right, you know, to keep this thing level. You can tell once it's rolling, it does its own thing, basically. Even, it's just crazy. Like the wheelie, you can just hold it pinned, it'll hold itself. So it's like one of the easiest things to learn. I mean, you would think it would be very hard. Anybody can drive this. I could give this to that guy standing over there that's never drove a hobby grade RC in his life. He'd be driving this in 3 minutes. I mean, it's very simple. So besides just straight up launching this thing, the most fun I've had with it, which is crazy, is the on-road. I cannot wait to get the street tires. Just watching this thing lean and dive into the corners as you brake and turn, and just, I mean, it just looks so good. This area right here was probably my least favorite, mostly just because there were some pretty big rocks mixed in with that dirt down there, and so it was just really rough and choppy, and you can see how much he's bouncing around and bobbling around, and I would kind of roll on my side and get stuck, and it was a lot of chasing it down. You can see there, total control. I'm always in total control. So all of this driving was done with one hand while filming, so, you know, don't judge me too bad. But look at that. Look how cool that thing looks diving around those turns. Like, I can only imagine driving this with both hands and just absolutely enjoying it, having a blast racing with somebody else. So I hope some people in the area pick these up, because, I mean, I could go out to this spot right here and we could just run laps and have a blast. This is absolutely my favorite RC I own right now. You can see there I'm still in off-road mode, so it just basically looped out when I punched it. It is definitely fun to play around with the different modes and see how the bike reacts different. And I mean, I gotta say, this is probably the best RTR of anything I've ran. Like, it just, straight out of the box, I don't even need to change anything. I don't want to change anything. I mean, for one, I think it's going to be kind of hard getting into the internals of this thing, swapping out servos and stuff. But in my opinion, like, it's so much fun like it is, and it's holding up so well. It don't even need it. Like, I'm not going to do anything to this until I break something, and I absolutely have to. It's just so much fun the way it is. So that's my thoughts on it. You guys let me know what you think. I appreciate you watching so much. Let me know if you have any questions. Peace.